This is why I'm no longer a feminist. Pretty much I realized that feminism was made to elevate white women, not women that look like me. What drew me to feminism was the idea of equal pay and equal opportunities. When I started looking into the real world, I started to realize that it's all BS. A man with a turban and an Indian accent is less likely to get an executive position than a white woman. Look around you. How many Indian men with turbans and Muslim women with hijabs are on executive teams? Definition is also concerning. Equality rather than equity. It almost seems like the loudest man in the room is what gets to dictate what women and men want. So if the next man decides, I want to walk around with my pee-pee swinging, women are going to say, well, we want to be equal to that guy, so why don't we also get some stuff? Even if it's not the priority or it's not what we actually want, but because the loudest man in the room said so, we're just constantly trying to keep up. Now, when did Islam come along? In 2020, I started looking more seriously into getting married. And at that point, I believed in 50-50. I thought it was a real thing. Men were very happy to hear I wanted to pitch in 50-50, and in some situations, I was even willing to pay 60-40. Over time, over looking at people around me, looking more into psychology, even date coaching, I started looking more into it. I realized there's no such thing as 50-50. Because even if we look at stats within Canada, which the majority of people here are not minorities or of Arab or South Asian descent, we realize that 70% of women still do most of the housework. So what is 50-50? Get people that'll tell you, well, my husband's great, he helps around the house. When we're not talking about the selective, we're talking about the collective. What is 50-50? And that's when I started looking more into Islam and I realized, what the heck? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows how men and women think. Why am I allowing a man-made ideology to tell me how I should live my everyday life when this same ideology changes month over month depending on the loudest person in the room? By the way, the loudest person also has some vested interest in you believing this. Long story short, I follow Islam, not feminism.
If you watch what happened in the 60s and 70s, women were essentially saying, we can do what you can do, but they can't, okay? I know you don't want to hear this. Nobody wants to hear this. This is not politically correct. It's true. Men and women, they are two different energies, two different powers. So it's no different than water saying, I can be fire. This is not personal. This is not sexism. This is the fact that we are dealing with two different beings. And until we recognize in society that we are two different beings, we're never going to be able to set up a society that's actually beneficial for both. So to the degree that we as women are demanding that we are seen as the same as men, we're going to get ourselves in trouble here. When I think about, feminine empowerment, it's about being brave enough to assert our difference. It's about not being threatened by the opposite sex as well. There's a huge component in there. Wanting men to be men and wanting to be empowered as women, it's the same thing.
I make it pretty well known on my page, I'm not a feminist. I do not subscribe to the ideology that is feminism. So many people think that feminism just means you believe in equality, you believe women should have rights and stuff like that. And my whole thing is I don't need to call myself a feminist to believe those things, because I do believe those things. Women should have rights, women should have equality, all of these things. Yeah, I believe all those things. I don't have to be a feminist to believe that though, because historically feminism means something. But besides the point, what is happening in Iran right now is those women are truly oppressed. You want to talk about a patriarchal society, look at the Middle East. Those women are being literally killed in the street. We don't even know how many protesters have died at this point, and Iran is trying to shut off their internet so that the rest of the world doesn't see what's happening right now. I might make an actual video about this, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. There are women who I'm not joking. There are women who are seriously comparing to what these women in Iran are going through right now to the patriarchal oppression that's happening in America right now. Are you kidding me? A woman was killed because she wasn't wearing her hijab right in the street. She was just killed. There are countless videos of women just being beaten in the street. And you have the nerve to compare that to our cushy, plush, absolutely privileged and entitled lives that us women in America live. That is sick and disgusting and straight up narcissist. I guess the argument is oh, but the patriarchy is on a scale or whatever. No, I don't subscribe to that. I do not believe you. I do not think you should be comparing yourself to what is happening in Iran right now. I'm sorry, but no, Stacy, it's not the patriarchy's fault that the boy you like won't date you because you don't shave your armpit hair. There is absolutely not a single right that a man has in America that I don't have. There is absolutely no privilege that a man has that I do not have. In fact, I would even argue I have more privilege in some areas. Oh, but a woman should be able to be just as sexually promiscuous as men. First of all, no, I don't think men have the right to be sexually promiscuous. In 2022, OnlyFins is the #2 shopping site online. How much more sexual liberation do you need? Women's lives are important and they're valuable and they deserve rights and they deserve equality and they deserve to be treated well, not just because they're women, but because they're human beings.
You ever notice that the women who are screaming the loudest about being oppressed by the patriarchy, the women who are screaming the loudest about how we need feminism and how, women still don't have their rights and how there's a gender pay gap, are almost always the most privileged, the most elite, the most richest white female women. Have you noticed that? It's always these white, liberal, elitist females, usually celebrities or females that have some high position with some company. They're doing fantastically well for themselves. They've clearly benefited from the patriarchy, right? These are the women who are claiming that they're oppressed, that there's a pay gap, and that men need to be destroyed. You notice that? So it was interesting with the first woman that we featured tonight in the clip. She said that an Indian man wearing a turban who's more educated and more qualified for, a job is less likely to get that job if there is a liberal, elite white woman who wants that job. She will get that job first. And this is the hypocrisy I can't stand when it comes to feminism. Because the only women crying about feminism are the ones who have benefited from the patriarchy, right? Who are communicating with their patriarchal device on a patriarchal internet about how we need to destroy the patriarchy. Right? It's always these chicks who are very privileged, very, if not rich, wealthy, grew up in nice neighborhoods, live in gated communities, driving brand new cars, brand new Lexus, Benz, Range Rovers, wearing the latest fashion, buying the most expensive purses, that are sitting there complaining that they are oppressed. When there are women in other countries who are actually oppressed, right? They are. Women are, I just heard a story. There's a woman who wouldn't submit to, I don't know what she did. She wasn't wearing her hijab or something like that. Is that what you call it? But they shot her, right? They shot her, and it's completely legal. You could do that. But here we go. You come over to the States, you got, feminists like Chelsea Handler or Emma Watson, or any, who's the other one? Alyssa Milano, Ashley Judd. Women who have made millions and millions of dollars, who live in mansions, who live in Beverly Hills or Bel Air, driving fancy cars, driving electric vehicles, talking about how they are oppressed. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this stuff up. So I am very happy that more of these women out there are starting to just call these other women out, which they should. I only wish that even more women would have the balls, have the courage to call these women out, these feminists out, for their blatant hypocrisy and gaslighting, right? Because they're essentially gaslighting. It's like, you've got to be out of your mind if you think you're oppressed, right? Especially in this world we're living in today, which was built by men, still ran by men, and still paid for by men. Okay, over 75% of the taxes are still paid for by men, regardless of the fact that more women are graduating from college and entering the workforce. 75% of the taxes are still paid for by men. And you know who decides to, where a lot of your tax dollars are going? It's towards programs that fund women, not men. Not society, but women. Like usually these liberal elite women who are complaining. So I've always said too, like women, these feminists only want equality when it benefits them, but the second it doesn't, they don't. Like right now, there's still no draft for females, right? It's only for men. Like if there was going to be a World War III, which there might be at some point, because a lot of stuff going on in the world when you have a weak leader like we do now, right? I'm an independent, by the way. I'm not left or right, so don't peg me either way. But the leader we have in right now is a complete beta male, complete wuss. He's weak. Besides being senile, he is just completely feminized, right? Completely feminized. It's a clown show. Nobody respects us anymore, and we are in danger, right? Whenever you have a weak leader there, you're in danger, right? At least when we had the former president in there, people were nervous. They were like, I don't know, this guy's kind of crazy, right? Like Trump, he's kind of crazy. Maybe he might push this button. He threatens people. I mean, he literally threatened, who was it? He threatened some leader of another country, and he said, hey, don't even think about this. I have your house right now, pulled up on my on this map, and we can bomb that thing in within like the next hour. So don't mess around, right? I mean, that's something that our leader right now would not say. And you just, I mean, it's better that other countries fear you rather than respect you, right? Fear goes farther than respect. I mean, really, respect is a byproduct of fear in many ways. Regardless, I always find it funny that the only women still out there complaining about feminism, still claiming about how oppressed they are the women who have done well because of it, who've benefited from it, right? Who've made millions of dollars because of it, who live in the richest, most safest gated neighborhoods because of it. I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of like, women who are struggling, or, I mean, of course you're going to see like Black women out there, Asian women out there, other races out there, Indian women out there talking about how, we need feminism because they've been brainwashed by the liberal elite white woman, right? This video sounds kind of racist, right? But I'm just saying, it's always these liberal elite white women who are complaining about something just for the fact they need to complain. When the mask thing was going down, you guys remember during the pandemic, and you had all these Karens out there shouting people down, getting in their faces, like, you're putting us all at risk, mister, and, screaming their asses off. What were those women? They're usually like these liberal elite white women, right? I hate to say it, it's true. Right? These highly educated, went to some, Ivy League school. The hypocrisy is unreal here. So I'm just happy that more of these females out there are starting to call out their hypocrisy, right? Because at this point in 2022, there really are no rights that women don't have that men still have, right? If anything, there's definitely inequality these days, but it's really for men. I mean, women have it so good that all they do is find time to complain about something, right? Because I've said this too, that feminism cannot exist without a patriarchy. It can't, right? The only reason that feminism exists right now is because of the patriarchy, because we allowed them to speak, because we got that freedom for them, right? But the second they get their wishes and they remove the patriarchy, and this becomes a matriarchy, and women are actually in charge and the men are weakened, guess what happens? We get invaded. Like literally overnight, we will be invaded by not just one, not just two, but multiple countries wanting to get their hands on our resources and our women. They will come here, I've said this before, like Red Dawn style, watch that movie Red Dawn, in parachutes, and they will start taking the women, raping the women, enslaving the women, turning them into concubines and sex slaves. You don't think that's gonna happen? It will, okay? It will. You think that like we're gonna have like this female run country where it's all women in charge and everything like that, and men can't do any more fighting, and it's just only women? Do you think that these other countries are gonna be like, okay, cool, now we respect the US, we're gonna leave them alone, they finally went full woke, okay, good for you, yay US? No, they're gonna be like, everybody get on the ships get in the planes, let's go over there and let's go stake our claim in that one time greatest country in the world. Let's go stake our claim and let's go take the women. That's what'll happen. Okay? We just will revert back to our normal tribal instincts, where we will just invade the other tribe, the weaker tribe. That's all. These chicks are so dumb. They're so naive. They're so gullible to think that any other country out there would allow the US to just be run by women, owned by women, and men are just all weekend and they step down and they shut up. And that everything will just be gravy, right? Life will be easy when that happens. No, you're gonna have your worst nightmare the second that happens. The second that there's no more patriarchy, there's no more military, there's no more men to protect you, you will see what happens to you and your daughters, right? You will all become sex slaves. I'm just being real, But drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. Anything you would like to add, anything you would like to share, please drop them in the comments below. Always love to see you guys in my comments. Always love to read them. So please feel free to drop your comments below. As always, this is M from the 33 Secrets, signing out here. Don't forget to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell as well so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure that if you love my work, if you love what I'm teaching here, it's adding value to your life, if you want to help me out, jump into 7 months of mastery. You're going to get a ton of value out of it. This is my personal program where I teach you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women in the world. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s. I'm not talking about single moms, divorced single moms, damaged women over 30, women with 5 therapists. No, I'm talking about the cream of the crop, just young, attractive, beautiful, and very classic and traditional women who are not like modern women. I teach you where to find these girls, how to cold approach them, and how to bring them into your life. I have many successful students around the world now, many of which have gotten married and had children and had families. It's crazy, with women that are, that are beyond, let's say, a bit out of their league, to put it nicely, right? They were able to get women who were more attractive than they would normally have gotten if they hadn't been in mastery, and women that they probably would not have found if they had never gone through my mastery program and learned my teachings, right? So I teach you this stuff, and I teach you from a red pill perspective. I am a professional pickup artist. I've been out there for the last 3 decades now. I've been coaching men since the 90s, so I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I know how to find these girls. I still go out to this very day, and so I'm still fresh in the game, and you're going to learn a ton and get a ton out of value out of my 7 months of mastery program, right? And it's really easy to sign up. Well, right now it's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons, so take advantage of it. All you need to do is click the link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds, so do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video.